going on, everybody? Joe Ray with Lowrider Garage. We're out here in Delhi, California. If you recognize the family, we just did a segment not too long ago on Punch 84, Steve Fernandez. It was all about custom paint. We went on, and these guys do fabrication. Well, they should. I mean, you saw what that truck looked like. When it comes to customization, you have to start from the frame off, and that's why we're here, because that's what this family does. Your dad Leroy's not here right now, but I know you stepped in. You're the son, chip off the old block, so you could tell the whole story about what you guys do here. That truck hasn't been around for like 25, 30 years almost. So obviously before you got working on it and getting into it, you had to know what was getting put into it. And aside from that, you went on with your creativity and many vehicles from there on. But I mean, we're almost kind of like manufacturing, but from frame off, you can almost build from what we've seen here, and you will see, you can build a car from scratch in here, right, Kenny? Introduce your family once more.
Yeah, this is my wife Bernadette, and my son Antonio, and my youngest son Santana. And my oldest son, he's Kenny Jr., he's not here with us today. But I got into welding at a young age. My dad, he taught me how to weld. When the other kids were out in the street playing and having a good time, I was in the garage working and learning how to weld. And I'm glad he showed me to do that, because then I was able to become a trade and make a living at it. We finally built this shop here in Delhi. We got 3 acres. We're completely set up to do restorations off the frame, airbags, hydraulics, suicide doors, whatever the customer wants, we'll do. And over the years, we've acquired a lot of equipment. We got lathes to do all the machining and milling. We got drill presses. We have shears and press brakes to do all the bending of the equipment. And then saws, pretty much everything that you need to be able to do any type of steel work. And then over here is our office. And want to show you a picture. This is me and my wife when we got married. And we had a little cruise right after the wedding, and it turned out really good.
So you don't need a door or windows in your office, because it's pretty much you write down or take care of whatever you need, turn around, walk out there, throw the gloves on, and here you go, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're very hands-on. There's only 4 of us at the shop other than my sons. So we're small and low-key, but we keep a real tight rein on all the work and make sure that the quality's there. Because
you don't have any CNC machines, but
no, I do
you
not.
make up for it with these and all the welding.
Yes.
The rest of the shop makes up for that.
Yes, we do have the large equipment to be able to shear and press all the way up to at least 3/4 of an inch of steel, whatever needs to be done.
You can pretty much design anything you want to do out of metal right here. With those
Yes,
shears,
you can.
right?
It does help with this equipment.
And then we're talking about lowriders too, because this looks, from some of the vehicles we're going to see, it looks like a hot rod shop, and that's what you would expect, because those high-end guys too like high-end work. But we have a Lowrider Camaro here that goes back in the days. You want to tell us a little bit about this one?
The owner is Benji Johnson. He's a local guy here out of Atwater, California. And he called me and he wanted to do a set of suicide doors. So he ordered these suicide kit hinges from a company, which they're nice quality hinges, but they're set up for a late model truck. So we tried to adapt them to put them on to make them work, and the geometry was completely wrong. So we had to end up build a custom 1-arm hinge out of 1/2-inch plate. A friend of mine that works at West Steel was able to, we gave him the pattern on the curve that we needed, and he was able to roll the curve. And as you can see, he did the Hollywood top, so he weakened the subframe. So we had to reinforce and bring this bar all the way across to give it strength on the body itself to be able to hold the suicide doors. It was a task. We've done a lot of truck doors. This was the first time we ever did a Camaro, but we're figuring it out.
And for everybody out there, it says a Camaro. Back in the days, Camaros were very, very popular.
Yes.
Way
they
back
were.
in the 70s. It's good to
And
see this
80s.
thing. And I remember this. He's got the old frame, he's got flakes, he's got gold leafing.
He's supposed to be busting it out again. That's why we're doing the work. He actually paints for himself, so we're just doing the metal work, and he's gonna take it from there.
Any more other modifications you'll be doing?
We're gonna mold off the skin on the inside of the door, but as far as that, that's as far as we're gonna do work on this vehicle.
So you got more machinery back there.
Yeah, more finger brakes and a huge press brake in the back. And the reason why we got that is a lot of these guys around here stretch the frames on their semi-trucks.
Okay.
So we're able to do a bend all the way up to 14 feet. That's a 14-foot bed. That'll be able to bend it.
So not just customs, cars, hot rods, lowriders. You go into the commercial end of business too.
Yeah, we pretty much will not turn down anything. Work is work.
How long have you been welding, Kenny?
Oh, I've been welding since I was probably 5 or 6 years old, so 50 years.
Who taught you?
My dad. Yep, my dad
So
taught me.
this is more or less how your dad, how he runs a shop here and how you took it from there then, right?
Yeah, yep.
I see all the hammers, everything all lined up, all the
Yeah,
vibes.
we try to keep very organized and clean as possible.
So there's a whole lot more out here. How many acres are we on?
We're on 3 acres out here.
So when I say you can build anything you want to, you got plenty of room to do it. All right, everybody, so Kenny's gonna take us on tour of another section in the shop, and you see a lot of completed cars here. So tell us more about what you got going on here.
On this side, this is the side we do all the mufflers, all the changing of wheel bearings, anything, any type that we're gonna need a rack, transmissions and so forth. And then on that far side is our assemble side, vehicles that are all done and we're starting to assemble them. That's why we put the carpet down so you can lay all your parts down and you don't have, you have to lay blankets and so forth. And it's just a lot of cleaner environment to be able to put a vehicle back together. I'd like to introduce you to one of the guys that works with us, Sean Hutchison, good guy. He does all the body work and all the electrical and the troubleshooting on all the vehicles that we have. If I have an electrical problem, he's the man to go to. And
What's happening, Sean? How long you been in this type of business?
I've been doing this about 40 years.
40 years, huh?
I
How long you
started-
been here?
Started in high school. I've been here about 10 years.
Wow. What's the story on this guy here? Nice paint job. Nice color combo.
this is a 32 Chevy. The neat thing about this is most are Fords. And this was a 32 Chevy. The gentleman that owns it, he had it at 3 prior shops, and I'm not even going to get into the horror stories that the guy went through. So he finally brought it to us. He picked these colors out of a color book. They're actually Porsche Targa colors, a 94. And the neat thing about this vehicle is that he liked the original hinge on the hood. But of course, as everybody knows, as you operate those hinges, it chips up and it ruins the paint. So he asked us to do this to it. Now we'll activate it and you can see what I'm talking about. All done on actuators. That way, you don't do any damage to the paint, but yet it looks original. You get the best of both worlds.
And that's a one-off hood hinge.
Yes, that's all
How
custom
long does
fabricated.
it take to figure something out like
About
that?
a month of screwing up.
Yeah.
You know, hey, everybody's human.
Yeah,
We do
exactly.
it. That didn't work. Let's change this. And you know that's how you can figure things out. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
That is very nice. And one thing that caught my eye walking in here is that black 57. Or we should say punch 57, right?
Yeah, this was my baby. A real quick story. The show truck Punch 84, I purchased that truck to tow this to the car shows. And of course, I started working on the truck. One thing led to another, and everybody knows the story on that. So one of these days, I got to get to it. I bought the car when I was 13 years old, and I've had it ever since. And hopefully, next few years, I'll get going on it and try, but I am gonna make a driver out of it. I'm not gonna go full radical.
Honestly, it looks good sitting there just like that. Then you got a 55 here too, right?
Yeah, we have a 55 Chevy with a Art Morrison frame, another ground up full restoration. The gentleman that owns it, it's got the 383 stroker motor that he had built. He actually brought us the motor, but it's got the throttle body Holly on it, the fuel injection, but he wanted all the wiring hidden as possible. So Sean did all the time on mounting everything when the front end was off to try to hide everything as much as possible. Even all the headlight wires, everything's ran underneath the fender. He told us to please hide as much as possible, and that's what we did for it. We've only got maybe another month and a half, and this vehicle will be done.
And that's why the carpet and the nice foam padding is to lay down and put this thing together.
Yes, it
I
makes
see
it.
you got your stainless bench back here with all the parts on it.
Yes, we have those, and that way when you're working on that vehicle, those parts is actually, this is what we have left for this vehicle.
Some classic pictures right there, you and your dad together.
Yes, yes, it is. This
There's
is,
the
yeah,
old paint
when
job
it
right there,
busted
when it
out the
first
first
busted out.
time. This one was Jeremy Newberry from the 49ers. Cool Design started the vehicle out of Modesto, and he kind of got behind, so he subcontracted us out. We airbagged it. Cool Design painted it, but we did all the engine compartment. Got all that finished up for him.
Nice. And another frame off El Camino, huh?
Yeah, 71 for a guy. Him and his wife bought it brand new. They came to us. They said, "We heard you're the guys to restore cars around here." We said, "We'll do our best," and we completely built it from ground up. And I'd like to say another thing about this couple. The gentleman's name is Rick Sentieri, and I don't remember his wife, but the first time I ever had a wife tell him, spend the money, do it right. I'll give her props on that. And Sean, my dad and Ray are like, how are we going to do this? So we laid it on its side, and I got in there, and luckily it came out good. The only problem that I had is I had a dead spot on the high side of the dash. That's why it's remasked. I've got to reshoot that. But other than that, it came out pretty darn good. And we should be getting this. He's actually going to put it together himself. We're just doing the painting.
Oh, here's where all the trophy section's at, huh?
Yes, this is what's left of all the old trophies. Sound off shows and lowrider shows and
All from about 25 years ago, right?
yeah, street rod shows.
Oh, yours
all
broke off too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you know how they get, Joe, when you try to move them around, they're so delicate.
Yeah, yeah. Good times though, man. Great memory.
Yeah, no,
Great accomplishments.
you cannot change that.
I see the kids are entertained very well here also.
Yeah,
Well, there's plenty of land out here to do whatever you want.
yeah, my boys, they like racing. So when we built the shop, we have a complete go-kart, all asphalt track all the way around. In fact, on the high side, it's embanked, just like NASCAR. So they get out there and we have a good time.
You have a cool little Dodge truck right here.
Yeah, 1953 Dodge. It's for a gentleman's name's Kenny. He's one of the owners of Joseph Gallo Cheese. And we ended up putting a 96 Chevy S10 half-ton frame underneath it. So we had to stretch the frame 18 inches, I believe, to get the wheelbase correctly. And then we put a 350 crate motor in it. Actually, even a Chevrolet GM crate motor. We had to move the firewall back to be able to get to adapt all that. And the other thing I'd like to say is on these moldings, because these Dodges are rare, we had to make these corner moldings. My dad fabricated those by hand, no machine. And he built the rear bumper by hand because it was not available.
So you do it all. I mean, we've seen it all.
We try.
Tilted hoods, suicide doors, a 61 painted floor, a Dodge truck, and then to take it to another level, a Metropolitan.
Yeah, 1957 Metropolitan. Younger gentleman owns it, think he's in his early 20s, and he absolutely loves this car. And he wants to go completely original on it. He does not want to change absolutely nothing.
And this truck right here?
This truck's a 1955 Chevy Pickup. Local people also in Atwater. The wife owns a nail shop, so she wants the whole truck this hot pink pearl. I even tried to talk her into a two-tone. She says, I want it all pink. I said, you're the customer, you get what you want.
What are you doing with the motorcycles up there? You're messing around with those too?
We were gonna get into them, and I've just been so busy we haven't done it yet. That one there's mine, the one on the right there. The other one's my son's dirt bike.
Interesting, the rack next to it on wheels, full of wires. That's all
Yes.
you up there, huh? Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's your toolbox.
Yep.
Yep.
All automotive wire on one side
Yeah, I see
and
that.
industrial on the other. We try to utilize and think how to make our work easier and more efficient.
Very nice. What's happening over here with the Camaros?
One's a Mustang and one's a Camaro. They're my sons. This one is Santana's. And we're right in the middle of painting it. This is an original color called Grabber Orange. We like the color, but we wanted to darken it up a little bit. So we've already got the trunk and the rear bumper done, and that's going to be the finished result. We just set it on there so you can take a look.
Punch 84 Rod Customs.
And same thing with my other sons here. His was white, and now we're going with a black pearl. So I paint my cars in pieces. I do not paint them complete. I know that's a taboo and a no-no by a lot of other painters, but it works for me.
There's a lot of guys that do that. So what, the kids just got bored of the go-karts now and then? And
Well,
got the real thing going?
they're still in the carts, and now they're into Legends, those other bigger race cars. So,
I see that too.
but Dad can only afford so much.
So, we've seen from ground up and to how they get and how they're put together, all the way down to the wiring. Body modifications, we saw that too. Let's go to your body shop.
Okay,
You have
let's
one of
do it.
those here too. All right, everybody, now we're in another section of the shop, and this is where they do all the magic. Just after all the metal work, you got to come in here, you got to start from fresh, right down the metal, etching primer. Introduce us to this shop. Tell us all about it.
This is our body shop. This is where we usually bring them to disassemble them. This is Ray Casey. He works with us. He's the newest guy on the team. He's been with us a couple of years already. He's the one that I let low to make sure he takes them all apart, and I'll let him tell you that.
We go in, we disassemble a complete car, we tag it, put it in boxes, label every piece that goes with it, till there's nothing but pieces of the car, and then from there we go to the sandblast pit to find out what kind of car is left to work with, and then it comes back in to Sean, who does the body work and the custom work to them.
How long have you been doing this kind of work? As far as body work and all that?
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
The materials haven't changed too much when it comes to primers?
No. I started in high school. I went to a Castle Air Force Base, worked a summer with them and in our auto body, and that's where I started. I fell in love with the disassembly of the cars and working on them.
And bring them back to life, huh? You got a few racks back there. Some more trucks.
Yep.
What are you hiding over there in the corner over there, Shane?
The actual top rack is all the parts for this 69 Charger. And then the bottom rack, I've got my wife's 46 Chevy Fleet Line. And I've got to get going on that too. She
Oh,
wants,
she needs to tell you like the wife of the El Camino guy, right? Here's a credit card, just go get it done now. I'm tired of waiting. You even hit it in the corner, right?
yeah, it's just,
Damn.
it's, you know, it's just time, enough time in the day to get everything done. But it, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there.
These are all the parts of that other Camaro that you
Yeah,
have.
that Camaro that's in the welding
Dolly?
side.
Yep.
All the metal work is done, so now we're starting to do the body work and getting ready to primer.
And this is the last pieces of the convertible
Yes, that
We just brought out
61,
on sand-
this is the last that
sandbath.
needs to be painted,
hit.
the last parts.
And for all the work you're doing here, I have to say, from the beginning of that shop tour all the way to here to the body shop, where it'd be even more dirty, this place is clean.
Thank you very
That
much.
shows you how professional and what craftsmanship is all about. I'm sure your daddy's not here today, but I'm sure he's proud of you, man.
I appreciate that. It makes all the difference in the world. I tell my boys all the time, if you're gonna do something, do it with your heart. If not, don't do it at all.
110%.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody, we'll go to the front of the shop and we'll put a wrap to this. We'll go over everything we saw here today. All right, everybody, so here we go. We went right through that door, saw all the fabrication, remanufacturing, restoring. You know the story, Punch 84, full custom truck. The frame was chrome. Well, they start off here with frames too. They start off here from the ground up, and that's what we saw from one shop to another. We saw the tricks of the trade all the way down to the assembly line, down to the body shop, Kenny. So when people see all these little tricks, especially the one with the hood and the hinges and all that, the suicide doors on the Camaro, the 61, they saw it all here today. How do they get a hold of you? You got a very well groomed and clean shop. Couple of professionals back you up. Of course, you got no better backup than your family right
Oh
here.
yeah, they got my back.
What do they got to do to get a hold of you to get your work?
The number to get a hold of us is area code 209-417-9560. I answer all the time. If not, leave me a text. And we do anything and everything from as little as lowering a car to complete off the frame restorations and everything in between. Whatever the customer wants, he gets.
So there you have it, everybody. So your dad's not here. He's up in Texas, but he can leave this place at any time and come back, and this is the way it's always going to look. Like I said, chip off the old block all the way down to your boys here. Just a very fine-tuned company, business, family. There you have it, everybody. We're in Delhi, California. You got the number. This is the man. This is what they do. You want fabrication, you want restoration. Make up your mind after you see this whole video, see it a couple times, and decide what you want. You know the name, you got the number. Lowrider Garage.